we're trying to find a way, to make this work and coach the team and give the team the best chance to win. But I also, he's got a job to do, and like he said, he has to live here. So, like he said, maybe all the national people understand why he should let me coach, but he has to live here, and it's a little different when you're the AD.
So now the question is, should Ole Miss have let Kiffin coach the remainder of the season for Ole Miss? Damian, what do you think?
Yeah, listen, first of all, I feel sorry for the players because they're the collateral damage in all of this. But no, I would not allow Lane Kiffin to coach in the season. We know the landscape of college football has changed dramatically with the transfer portal and how the schedule aligns itself right now. And when you look at it, like literally, and Cam, you can speak to this, like the transfer portal is like literally right around the corner.
January 2nd.
January 2nd, it's right around the corner. How are you going to have a coach coaching Ole Miss where you can literally recruit players from that squad and bring them over to LSU as far as the transfer portal is concerned? Like, that doesn't even make any sense for Ole Miss is concerned. I have no problem with Lane Kiffin going and making a move to LSU because LSU is a better job. But as far as going out here and coaching and possibly taking players and also, like, recruitment as well. Like, there's just too many things going on that would be a detriment to Ole Miss in the long term looking past the college football playoffs. So, no, absolutely not.
It's a basic business practice. There's not a business person or an executive that will allow a person to poach. It's a conflict of interest. That's why. And some would say, well, Coach Sumrall is coaching Tulane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's for the American Championship, for Christ's sake. It's not in the SEC. You've already stated it, Shay. Ole Miss plays LSU next year. Why would we want to help? It's instantly. It's like if Stephen A. goes to another network. Why would we allow you to keep doing certain things if we know that you have the capacity to take what's already here?
Right.
And you got $25 million to be like, man, it's a lot of things that a lot of people are doing. Man, congratulations to Coach Lane. But at this particular point in time, we can't allow you to infiltrate a facility that knowing that it's natural that's going to happen.
Let me help y'all out here, two young brothers. First, you, Cam, born in 1989, if I remember correctly.
Oh, no way.
You brought up, they wouldn't allow us. Damian Woody, we don't have to mention names, but there's plenty of people that left here to go to other networks that finished their contract. They stayed here for a few more weeks, if not a few more months. Shay, I'm telling the truth about that. They didn't just walk out the door the second that they decided to depart for elsewhere. They actually stayed at this network for a few weeks, if not a few months before departing. I'll take it one step further. And you know why the bosses didn't make a big stink about it? Because they looked at other people and they said, handle your business. Make sure that's not a decision we regret. You better hold it down. That's what they said. So that's the job. I forgot the name of the defensive coordinator who has now been elevated, and he's not the interim. He's now going to be the coach at Ole Miss. All right, fair enough. You could have done that afterwards. Here's my point. Damian, I'm totally with you. If you're talking about him recruiting other players, if you're talking about him recruiting other coaches, hell no. Absolutely not. But if they could have gotten Lane Kiffin to agree, you take no players from Ole Miss, you allow no transfers from Ole Miss to LSU, and no coaches from Ole Miss to LSU. This man has coached you for 6 years to winning 74% of your games. Only 3 programs have won more football games in the last 3 or 4 years than Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. That is Ohio State, Oregon, and Georgia. That is it. The man is winning football games. And by the way, Cam, you're born in 1989. Woody, I believe you were born in 1977. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the year you were born, okay?
Yes.
You young whippersnappers here. I'm in my 50s. Do you know none of us were born, including me, the last time Ole Miss was relevant in the national championship picture? Last time that happened was in 1962, was when John F. Kennedy was president, and our modern day Kim Kardashian was Marilyn Monroe. That's the last time that the Ole Miss football program was relevant. And you're telling me that this man coaches this team. I'm not talking about the middle of the season. He finished the regular season. You knew about LSU when you entered the Egg Bowl this past weekend. He won that game. And now all we're talking about is pursuing a national championship as one of the top 12 teams in the nation selected for the college football playoffs. And you're telling me it's wrong. To leave him there as the coach to finish the job he himself has started. He didn't inherit some team from Nick Saban. He didn't inherit some team from Kirby Smart. He didn't inherit some teams from Dabo Swinney when Clemson was doing what they were doing. Oh, none of that happened. Ole Miss was nowhere. He put them on the map. He spent 6 years there. And all he's saying is, let me finish the job of trying to capture a national championship. I'm saying, if I'm Ole Miss, here's the question I'm asking. What's more important right now, the national championship or this? I'm saying it's the national championship. Again, my caveat, no recruitment of players or coaches from Ole Miss. That I understand. All bets are off if you do that. But as long as you're not doing that, and it's just a matter of you finishing the job, I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
I really don't.
First of all, Pete Golding is the new head coach at Ole Miss. Second of all, you are literally letting LSU take your head coach, and then you're going to say, and why don't you have a competitive advantage too? Why don't you go coach Ole Miss, a team we're going to play next year, LSU, and we're going to give you a competitive advantage because those players are going to, some of them might stick around. They're going to know specific play calls. You're going to know the ins and outs in that bill. Why would they let him do that? Right. They're already giving him their head coach. Why would you say, oh, yeah, but stay here and then have a competitive advantage for next year? That makes absolutely no sense. Because you have to have a little pride.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Shay.
Oh,
and you're as brilliant as they come.
Please.
I don't know what the hell you're talking
exactly
about.
what I'm talking about.
I got him.
What advantage would he have in the playoffs that he didn't have this past weekend? All the games this season.
Okay.
So Stephen A., he has a new job. He can literally talk to these players on the sidelines or learn different plays or communicate with them or take a notebook out there. I mean, there's 100 different ways he could have a competitive advantage.
If that situation was offered to Lane Kiffin, no one would have believed that he would not recruit in-house. That's his coaches and players. And the unfortunate truth about that is, even if he would have said, yes, I will not recruit any players or coaches.
Do you believe it?
Do you? No. By the time you find out, you can't punish him. He's gone. And now he's trying to demolish you because he's now your foe. He's now your enemy. He's now the person that you've allowed to sleep in your bed, eat out your refrigerator, walk your dog, and all of a sudden you start to see your dog got a new collar. You start to see your kids got new shirts. That's LSU. And that's unfortunate because now if you allow that to happen, man, come on, dog. You're going to be crippled for years.
Listen. Y'all are changing up the argument. If you're telling me that there's no way for that to happen, then I'm with you. I side with you. I side with you if you're telling me there's no way he's going to recruit.
There's not any way to get around it, though.
Coaches. What I'm saying is I'm saying to you like this. If I want you bad enough for LSU, right? And if I'm Lane Kiffin and I got LSU in the palm of my hands because I got the offer, but I really want a coach to try to win this national championship to finish the job, I contractually agree. Nobody's coming from Ole Miss. No problem. That's what I was thinking. Well, if you're telling me that's impossible, then I'm with you. I'm saying to you, as my understanding, contractually, you could make that happen if you want to bad enough. You could do that. And if that's the case, go for the national title. And if that's the case, Ole Miss should have allowed them to. If that wasn't the case, then they made the right decision.
It's not contractually feasible because one thing we know, usually when a coach goes from one place to another place, what's the first thing they do? They always bring players or coaches
because they're
guys because they're trying to instill a culture at the new place. That's exactly what Lane Kiffin. That's exactly what he's going to do. Now, that's what he's going to. He's going to bring players from Ole Miss. He's going to bring offensive assistants from Ole Miss to LSU to try to speed up the implementation.
Yeah, but y'all are missing it.
What's that?
Nick Saban has been on the record in the past because he abhors that, what y'all are talking about. And one could easily argue that one of the reasons, and I don't know this for certain, but one of the reasons it appears that him and Kirby Smart have such a good relationship is the respect that Kirby Smart showed because he didn't depart and then turn around and try to recruit cats away from Alabama that was already there, whether it's a player or plucking from the coaching staff. I'm just saying, not that Lane Kiffin is the one to use this as an example for when you talk about honor codes, because we all know that's a challenge. But the point is that there is such a thing as like, no, I'm not going to do that. I coached at this program. I'm not going to disrespect these people by plucking from their coaches after they gave me this job. That is possible, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
This is the same Lane Kiffin that got fired the week of the national championship game at Alabama for
was it the semifinal?
It was either semi or national championship because he had looking one way instead of focusing on the job at Alabama.
I'm not asking you to trust him. I'm not asking you to trust him. I'm saying if it could contractually happen, then he should have signed a contract promising that so he could coach the national champion. Coach these guys to a national championship and they could pull it off.
Unfortunately, the reality here, there's nothing that you could put in the contract that another person has in another organization or another team. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a higher power to uphold that, then that's different. What people need to also understand is this. College recruits, high school recruits, they commit to coaches. They don't commit to programs. They commit to coaches. They don't commit to programs. What we're about to see happen is a pure display of how much power Lane Kiffin really has. Not only that, is that I won't be surprised if certain players at Ole Miss sit out to meet the deadline on January 2nd. I'm not going to play in the college football playoffs. I'm cool. I'm going to go take my talents to Baton Rouge. And it's because, yes, the Ole Miss Rebels, yeah, you would like to get a degree and like to say, peaks. All that is cool. But I committed to a coach, not a university.